Welcome back to the news from Kazakhstan. I'm Marina Kim with the latest updates. On Wednesday, 14 inmates of a prison in the Akmala region cut open their stomach while filming the proceeding on a mobile phone camera and then appealing to the country's authorities. Convicts are not satisfied with detention conditions in the colony. The major part of the protesting inmates were charged with felonies. Therefore, the Correctional System Committee members do not seem to rush with comments about the incident, saying that detainees are trying to destabilize the situation with hope that the colony management will seek compromise and soften the detention terms.
Help us, Nursultan Nazarbayev also blamed the security department and the head of the colony for my death.
Human rights activist Vadim Kuramshin believes the now frequent incidents in Kazakh penitentiary system have a political context. Kuramshin says that some politicians are simply interested in discrediting the work of the current Justice Minister Rashid Tosubekov. However, the poor detention conditions may also serve as a reason for convicts' protests.
The correctional department employees attempted to force convicts to join the law and order units, which only could be joined voluntarily according to the criminal code. Subsequently, we saw the reaction of the convicts. Why does this happen in Kazakhstan? Why do inmates who just arrived to the colony are forced to join the units, which actually deal exclusively in blackmail, persecution and murder? A scandalous trial started in Moscow, Russia on Wednesday. 4 suspects are charged of murders and assaults on citizens of Central and Southeastern Asia. The last victim of the criminals was a citizen of Kazakhstan. The preliminary hearings were closed for public. However, our reporter was able to obtain some footages of the trial and speak to the legal expert on the case. The footages provided by the City Court Press Service shows 4 young men, all members of the autonomous Slavonic opposition movement. They are charged with crimes committed in 2008 and 2009, including 4 murders of citizens of Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Cameroon and Vietnam, as well as 11 assaults, including against 2 young women who were set on fire after being soaked with gasoline.
If this will be seen as a grave crime or felony, the maximum sentence term may reach over 10 years of imprisonment.
Both prosecution and defense refrained from comments during the pre-trial hearing. Suspects prefer to keep silence in similar situations, says the criminal procedure lawyer Anna Panishova. Despite charges of murder, assaults, arson, desecration of Russian Orthodox churches and Jewish synagogues, marketplace explosions and robbery, some of the convicted may actually escape the severe penalty.
There were cases when people were declared not guilty for similar crimes, when the jury trial reviewed the case, like it happened with the case with the murdered Tajik girl. Then the jury didn't find the minors guilty of the committed crime.
The prosecution's case consists of several volumes of materials. Normally, the announcement of preliminary charges may take several days, while the proceedings themselves could last several months.
The leader of the labor group of the Embamunaygas branch, Asilkhan Musin, was hospitalized from the isolation ward where he and his fellow Max Bakayev have been detained. Following their recent arrest, the activists launched a hunger strike, which resulted in substantial deterioration of their health conditions.
The health condition of activists Asilkhan Musin and Max Bakayev, who were arrested recently for holding an unsanctioned rally in western Kazakhstan, got worse. Both of them were hospitalized on Wednesday. Protesting against the arrest, Bakayev has started a hunger strike last week. As a result, he now suffers from gastric ulcer and high blood pressure. The activist fellows are urgently looking for an attorney in Atyrau to help the protesters.
We had to call an ambulance as the man suffers from aggravated gastric ulcer and high blood pressure. Only on the 5th day we were allowed to pass them T-shirts and water. Right now we are looking for a lawyer to appeal the sentence and manage other activities.
In addition, on the 2nd day of the strike, the police arrested 6 more workers of Chayukmunaygas, an Atyrau subsidiary of the National Kazmunaygas Corporation. Eventually, they were released upon signing agreements not to continue the action. The rally started on July 3rd, when workers dissatisfied with the new wage payment system introduced by the company started protesting against it. The same day, the CEO of the Kazmunaygas Exploration and Development Company arrived for the talks, which produced no results. Meanwhile, San Musina, a mother of one of the arrested activists, failed to obtain a permission to visit her son, as over the weekend and holidays almost all representatives of the law enforcement agencies had days off.
I'm so worried about my son. He is sacrificing his health to protect the rights of the oil industry workers. I worry for his life.
The ATRO Internal Affairs Department refrains from any comments regarding the arrest and especially the hospitalization of the detainees. The department spokeswoman Gulnazira Mukhtanova has stated recently that she will be ready to talk to reporters only after the holidays. However, the press service didn't respond to phone calls on Wednesday.
Although it is known that Max Bakayev will be released on Saturday, public activist Zhanna Zhandosova, who represents the Oil in Command Public Control Coalition, says the authorities do everything in their power to keep the rebel in detention for as long as possible to avoid further possible protest actions.
I think that his rights were abused by the police, as he wasn't allowed to make a phone call and was not even given water while he was detained in the isolation ward. I think Max's actions were necessary to draw the public's attention to the problem. That is why he entered a hunger strike.
While the oil industry workers are trying to draw the public attention to their problems, the uranium industry representatives report about the new partnership. Russia and Kazakhstan are joining efforts in uranium extraction and enrichment. The corresponding agreement was signed between the heads of Russian Rosatom and Kazakh-Atomprom on Wednesday.
The national Kazatomprom company and the Russia's national Rosatom Corporation have signed an integration and cooperation memorandum for the development of nuclear energy. The agreement implies a full set of cooperation between the states, including joint development and marketing of natural uranium. The ex-director of the Treasury Department of the Kazatomprom, Kalim Nazarov, believes the agreement is a big mistake. The creation of a joint marketing company is a step back for Kazakhstan. Kazatomprom never had a problem with marketing the natural uranium. Moreover, marketing was just a small fraction of the company's bigger strategy. Everything was going well, and the development program designed by Murat Jakishev and his team implied big geopolitical tasks. According to Nazarov, the mentioned plan was designed to take the company to the leading positions of the global uranium market with great development perspectives. Jakishev himself never concealed his ambitious plans. All future sales will involve fuel. Kazakh uranium will leave the country in the form of fuel, which represents products of maximum surplus value. Mukhtar Jakishev's supporters still remember his plans on launching the uranium enrichment facilities in Angarsk. From the logistical point of view, this would be more efficient than transporting the resource all the way to Uralsk. However, the entire course of cooperation has been changed after the court proceedings. If Jakishev has been prioritizing the cooperation with Japan, South Korea and China, now Russia is considered as the sole key partner.
It's partially beneficial for Kazakhstan because it will stimulate the company's growth to have strong partner and competitor at the same time.
Interestingly, many experts suggest that the arrest of the company's ex-leader Mukhtar Jakishev is related with the necessity of the new course for Kazatomprom. Besides, the company which was developed under Jakishev's management has become quite a profitable venture, and it may be possible that the ambitious plans of that ex-leader were seen as a threat to his enemies.
The Alga party is launching a campaign, Nazarbayev is not my leader. The number of events planned by the organization must serve an example for the rest of the civil society, says the party's leader Vladimir Kozlov. The activists will start rallying in front of the offices of the ruling party Nuratan starting Thursday, demanding the revocation of the recently created nation's leader status.
The unregistered party Alga has launched a project Nazarbayev is not my leader, which implies holding rallies in front of the offices of the ruling party Nuratan starting Thursday. The campaign will be joined by the Kazakh communists led by Gazi Saldamzharov. In already prepared appeals to Nuratan, Alga's members emphasize that they will act strictly in accordance with the law. We will bring the attention of the authorities to the fact that Kazakhstan is actually the OSCE chair and it should observe the principles of peaceful assembly. In addition, the party activists will support the lawsuit of Shanna Baitelova, a reporter of the newspaper Golos Respubliki, the voice of the Republic. The journalists believe that their parliament speakers Kasym-Jomart Tokayev and Ural Mahometjanov, as well as Prime Minister Karim Masimov, who signed the law into force, had no right to decide the fate of the entire nation.
It is encouraging to know that people are actually ready to stand up for their rights. The only sad thing is that there are not many of them at the moment. The Alga activists were the first ones to sound off. Besides, I got a lot of responses over the internet.
Another activist, Takirjan Akhmetov, has filed a suit in the Bostanlık District Court yesterday. It's not his first experience participating in non-standard actions. In 2008, he cut off his finger protesting against the repressive judiciary system of Kazakhstan. They have lied to the entire nation, and that's why I decided we had to do something about it. Akhmetov says he has been thinking about filing a claim against the president's new status and luckily found associates. The courageous actions of the journalists have inspired the businessmen to take some action.